After all these years, guys, Realm, I have played Dead Island 2, and I'm here to give you my opinions on the game. And shout out to them for giving us this code to give you guys this coverage. They definitely value our opinion just like you guys value our opinion. And this is my review on Dead Island 2 for the Xbox Series X. What's going on, you guys? Lord Addict here, coming at you for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing Dead Island 2. Not Dying Light 2, Dead Island 2. First off, let's get a little recap, alright? My history with this game is I was a huge fan of Dead Island 1. I liked Riptide. I really was looking forward to Dead Island 2. And for the longest time, you guys know how it is. We have been waiting for this game for as long as I can remember. They showed this game at like an E3, like it feels like 9 years ago or 8 years ago, something like that. And it's one of those things where Dead Island 2 became like a unicorn of the gaming industry, where we didn't know if this game was actually going to show up. And 9 times out of 10, when games take that long to make, they have a lot of issues when they actually get launched. Question is Dead Island 2 worthy of your money? That's the biggest question. I think the majority of you are in this video for that question. I would say there's a lot of factors that go into that. One of the things I really want to, put a spotlight on is the story of Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2, I wouldn't say is anything special when it comes to the story. You end up being one of the survivors on a plane crash. Kind of more like Dead Island 1, except for it's in a different way. What I do like in this game is they bring returning characters from the original Dead Islands. I won't go into anything more detail on that. I'm sure you've probably seen them somewhere on Twitter, but that's for you to be spoiled, not for me to spoil you. And I think I like stuff like that because it brings back those old roots. I love when games, sequels especially, go back and they bring those original characters back. But as far as the story, it's like I said, it's nothing special. It's definitely playable. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the story is like the worst thing in the world. It is definitely not the worst thing in the world, but I will say there's a lot more different types of story going on out there, and it didn't do anything captivating. It definitely hold true to its roots of being, in a zombie apocalypse world. You're trying to survive, you're trying to get out of the area. It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to a zombie apocalypse movie or any type of movie you've seen. You've seen this story over and over again, but it doesn't take away the fact that it's definitely worth playing, even though you probably know the majority of the elements in this game. There are gameplay elements that wasn't in the previous ones that did add on to the story, but I don't think they ever really branched out with it. Now, I don't want to go into the element because I feel like that's a little bit of a spoiler, but something does happen where you can quote unquote evolve. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about if you're watching this after beating the game, and I felt like that perspective could have been done better. It could have been branched out. Felt like there wasn't a lot of narrative going into that. But besides that, the story, it's like I said, very safe. I think that they did that intentionally. This game's never been designed to be around the story like that. That's why I want to talk about the graphics. You guys know that I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to graphics. I don't really care in terms of graphics. As long as it looks modern to what we are doing today, most of the time, that's the only thing I care about. I don't care really about elevating the graphics of a game. I care more about the AI, the gameplay. I care more about how the game feels than the game looks. Now, it does gotta look okay. It's gotta be modernized, but it doesn't have to be like a God of War or something like that. One thing I do want to say is Dead Island 2's graphics is phenomenal. Like, I can honestly say when I'm looking at this game on the Xbox Series X, I'm sure it looks way better on PC. So many times I'm playing this game, I'm just wowed by how good the game looks. I'm looking around, the details they have in the zombies. Sometimes when you are attacking a zombie or you're having confrontation with a bunch of zombies and you have an axe and you swing like a wide swing and it hits them all, you literally see the debris on their face that was hit off because you were attacking them. And it's attention to detail stuff that makes games like this good, especially zombie apocalypse games. When you have all of these artificial humans running around at this point, they're dead, but they're not dead. and you're attacking them and it's actually taking limbs off. It's, you know, when they're on the ground and you hit them and you could see the torn fabrics on their clothes, or if you go deeper you can actually get into the flesh of them. Like, stuff like this makes these type of games really stand out. And I have to give my hat off to Dead Island 2 and Deep Silver, because stuff like this, to me, is what a lot of people lack. Stuff like this is what a lot of people don't look at. And I feel like they really did a good job in terms of the detail of this world, especially when you're in sunlight. It is very beautiful. And I have to, you know, like I said, give them props for that. Now let's talk about the gameplay. You guys know that I'm a stickler for gameplay. I love gameplay. Pretty much everything you can imagine from Dead Island 1 has returned in here in some way, shape, or form, and I think they've done very well on expanding on it to a degree. I think they could have done a little bit better, but I will say that this game does very well. Now, obviously, the weapon combinations are back. I think this has been a standard in almost every zombie type of game. You know, you could go in there, you could combine weapons, you can make weapons, you can repair weapons. I like this type of gameplay. I actually feel like, in terms of just the guns, they actually did a really good job making the guns feel like they're actually useful. Now, are they the biggest useful thing in the world? No, you're gonna run out of ammo eventually, but I felt like they had a kick. I felt like the gun shot well. The weapon and combat in general, this game was done decently, very well. And you know, once again, man, they did a good job on the combat. You guys see where this review is going. You know, I do think that when it comes to the co-op, it functioned very well with me. You know, you can have up to 3 people in here. You guys can go explore stuff. There wasn't a lot of restrictions that was going into this game. For the most part, I would honestly say that this is the definition of what a sequel should be. Obviously, I felt like some of the zombie varieties could have been a little bit better. That's just it's me nitpicking for the most part. But what I will say is this game just had a vibe to it. It had energy to it. You know, you go to the carnival, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I felt like the side quest was done well. I felt like, you know, the implementation of co-op was done well in general. When you're doing stuff, you know, you do stuff with someone that carries over to their game. And I think every developer, if you're going to make a co-op game, you gotta have progress go through both stories. It can't just be one, and they did have it on this. You know, I tried it multiple ways, having lobbies up to entirely 3 people, and every single time it carried over from all 3 people. And I gotta really props out to them, because you got games coming out that you have to beat twice, and I don't like that. But, you know, anyway, that's pretty much what's going on here, man. You know, I always give you guys options. I always tell you multiple different things if you should buy this game, and this is my honest opinion when it comes to Dead Island 2. Is it the best game in the world right now? No, but it's a really solid experience. I enjoyed this game from the beginning to end. You know, especially if you want to play this with a co-op experience with a buddy or 2, I think that's definitely an option here, and it actually has very good systems in place to let you enjoy this co-op experience. Dead Island 2 has really good combat that I do feel the majority you're going to really enjoy, especially if you just like something as simple as just, you know, going on there and defacing zombies, attacking zombies, you know, delimbing zombies. I think you guys will enjoy that. And the good thing about it is it lets you play any way you want to play. You can play this game if you want to go in there with guns, you can. Now, I will say towards the end of the game, that's probably not your greatest thing. I would use the guns for some of the, you know, more elite zombies that you don't want necessarily close to you. And then if you want to go in there and just take a sword, take a spear, and, you know, customize the hell out of it, put lightning on it. There's a lot of different aspects that you can play this game, and that's what we love about these type of games. You know, they're not the greatest things in the world, but they definitely are fun play. They are enjoyable to play, especially with friends. And that's exactly how I would tell you guys for this. You know, if you like zombie games, this is the game for you. You definitely need to try this. If you like Dead Island 1, this is more Dead Island. So I think you are going to enjoy that. The biggest criticism I could probably give this game is, and it's not even its fault, I came from playing more Dying Light. And I feel like the movement restrictions that I feel in this game, because of playing games like Dying Light, made this game a little less enjoyable. Now, I will say that once I played a little bit, that ended up not being as much of an issue because I got used to not being able to, parkour to the degree that I was parkouring in those older games. But what I will say is this game has its own things, man. This game has its own charm. And sure, it's not Dying Light. I actually do feel like Dying Light, in terms of movement, is a far better game. But in terms of killing zombies and to some degree feeling threatened when you walk into a hotel and it ends up being this big giant scary experience and you have to go from one room to another while there's stuff on fire, where there's zombies running everywhere, I did feel less safe in this game. And I feel like a zombie apocalypse needs to feel that way. You need to feel like it's actually going down. And to a degree, I will say that that didn't happen in some of these other zombie games, but it is present in Dead Island 2. I want you guys to buy this game if you enjoy it. I do feel like they did enough here to make it worthy experience. You can obviously wait for it to hit a subscription service because most likely eventually this game's going to come to something, maybe Game Pass, maybe PlayStation Plus. The Epic Game Store will be putting stuff on there all the time, but I do think this game's worth your money. I think it was a very fun experience, only if you like zombie type of experiences. If you don't really like it, this probably isn't going to get you into it. There's a lot of other games out there on the market right now that's cheaper to get you into a zombie franchise, but if you do like that type of experience, this is the game for you. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Were you guys expecting anything extravagant when it comes to Dead Island 2? Or does it look like it is exactly what you thought it was? Like I said, it's definitely worth your money if you like zombie type of games. And I think that's okay. I think at the end of the day, people play these type of games for that type of experience. But put in the comment section below what you guys think. I'm very curious to hear you guys' opinion. And don't forget to catch us every Sunday at 1 p.m. on this channel for the Iron Lords podcast, where we talk about everything in gaming. My name's Lord Addict, and I hope you guys have a good day. And this has been my review on Dead Island 2 for the Xbox Series X. Peace.